There was a time in days gone by when all of the Tzaddikim personally knew the Lamed Vavnikim. Among those Tzaddikim was the founder of Chabad Hasidus, known as the Alter Rebbe, the Baal HaTanya, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi. This classic story has been passed down from generation to generation among the Lubavitcher Hasidim. Only recently has it been written down. In a little house outside of Liozna in Russia lived one of the Hasidim of the Alter Rebbe. He was a school teacher, a Melamed. His livelihood, to say the least, was meager. His wife would bake rolls and pastries, when she could, to bring in a few extra rubles. Late one winter night, there was a banging on this Hasid's door. He ran quickly to open it, only to find a stranger, a Jew, half frozen from the cold. Of course, the Hasid and his wife brought the man inside and warmed him back to health. In silence, they sat with him as he ate and drank. They then lifted their little children off of the warm stove and made a bed there for their drowsy guest. But in the morning, when the couple rose to greet him, he was gone.
Mommy, Daddy, the man left his bag,
said their little girl. And indeed he had. A simple brown leather bag with no name and no address. Where to begin? How could they find this stranger in order to complete the mitzvah of returning a lost item? And they didn't even know his first name. We'll open the bag, they decided. Perhaps his name or address was written on something inside. They were shocked. The bag was filled with gold coins. Now they certainly didn't know what to do. So they went to the Alter Rebbe in Liozna.
The Holy One has sent you this treasure. It's meant for your family. Your guest will never come back for it. But don't tell anyone. Keep it a secret. I will tell you exactly what to do. Come back tonight.
The Rebbe told the Chassid to take a small amount of the money and open a business. After a year went by, the Rebbe told him to expand his business. Soon after that, the Rebbe advised the Chassid to go to buy merchandise in Moscow and to supply the stores in Liozna and the neighboring towns. He soon became a prosperous merchant, all the while remaining a faithful Jew and Chassid, always helping whomever he could, whenever he could. One day, the Rebbe called for his Chassid and instructed him to travel to Germany. Buy your merchandise there at the cheapest price, the Rebbe told him. This way, you can supply even the distributors of Moscow with their goods. And, as before, the faithful Chassid came to receive the blessings of the Rebbe. And this is where the story really begins. One time, the wealthy Chassid brought the Rebbe a gift, a souvenir from a journey to Germany, a beautifully ornamented spice box.
This is a truly beautiful gift, my friend. Thank you very much. But next time, there is a much more meaningful gift that I will ask you to bring me. Do you ever go to the theater when you visit Germany?
The Chassid was dumbfounded. He thought to himself,
The theater? Me?
You will do me a great favor if you would go to the theater next time. Go with shalom and bracha, my friend, with peace and blessing.
Our Chassid accepted upon himself the Rebbe's wish and planned to go to the theater the next time he'd be in Germany. But in all honesty, he couldn't imagine why the Rebbe would send him to such a place. He had never even been in there before. The theater is certainly not a usual part of a Chassid's life. But nevertheless, on his next trip to Germany, the Chassid did his business, and on the last night of his stay, bought a ticket to the theater in Königsberg. The Chassid took his seat in the last row and almost immediately fell asleep. He was so tired from his long days of business and travel that he couldn't stay awake to watch the show. As soon as the lights went out, he began to snore. After everyone else had already gone home, he was found sleeping in his seat. An usher woke him up.
Hey, the show's over. Why don't you go home? Say, what are you doing here anyway? A Hasidic yid like you. Where are you from?
From Liozna in Russia. My Rebbe sent me here, though I myself don't know why.
From Liozna. Do you know Zalmanyu?
Who is this Zalmanyu?
Oh, of course. You would know my friend by another name. I'm speaking of Rabbi Shneur Zalman. Do you know him?
You mean my holy Rebbe, Reb Schneier Zalman?
Of course, the chassid was taken aback by this tone of familiarity.
Of course I know him. He sent me here.
So in that case, send him my regards. I'm Karl, the usher. Have a good trip, my friend. See you again.
So the chassid came back to the Alter Rebbe and gave him Karl's regards. The Rebbe thanked him heartily and told him the next time he goes, he should once again come to the Rebbe's court first. A few months later, our chassid had to travel to Germany again, and he came, as always, to receive the blessings of the Alter Rebbe. This time the Rebbe gave him a package to give to Karl the usher.
It's extremely important. You must take the utmost care with it and make sure that you return it to me. Don't let him keep it.
Again, the chassid went to Königsberg, and again bought a ticket to the theater. And again, he dozed off immediately. He slept through the entire show, just like the first time. Again, the same usher found him sleeping in the same position.
Shalom Aleichem, my friend. I see you're back. Did you give my regards to Zalmanyu?
Of course I told the Rebbe. And this time he asked me to show you what's in this package. But I must tell you that I have clear instructions to return it to the Rebbe.
Our chassid gave the package to the usher, who opened it ever so carefully. It was a thick manuscript in clearest handwritten holy tongue and Aramaic script. A most profound tome requiring the most learned scholar many long hours to peruse. But the usher began flipping through the pages as if he were proofreading the most mundane of newspapers. Suddenly his face began to glow as though he was warming on a fire. Watching this usher delve into the Rebbe's secret writings, the chassid sat in awe and amazement. After many minutes, Karl the usher finished the entire book and looked up.
Holy, holy, holy. Pure and holy inspiration. These are certainly divinely inspired teachings. Oh, I regret that I have to give it back. Tell Zalmanyu it's ready, but that he doesn't leave very much for Mashiach to reveal. Go in peace, and I'll see you again, my friend. Thank you.
So the chassid made his way back to Liozna with the manuscript that Karl, the theater usher, had so excitedly approved. When the Alter Rebbe got the good news that his greatest work, the Holy Tanya, had received Karl's approval, he sent it immediately to press. Today, nearly 200 years later, the Tanya is still the most important and well-known of all Hasidic works. Karl, the theater usher, was, of course, a tzaddik, one of the 36 hidden righteous men in whose merit the world stands. As great as the Alter Rebbe's work was, and is, it was not until one of the Lamed Vav Tzaddikim had approved his blessed Tanya that the Alter Rebbe was willing to publish. And as Karl the hidden tzaddik said to himself, only the Mashiach will reveal more.